be beneficial. Whatever they make beneficial, that's what it will become.
Yeah, so
Like,
here's my question. Here's my
imagine,
question for you.
yeah.
Do you think the US is a force for good in the Americas?
Um, to be really honest with you, you might need to enlighten me on that. So I won't decide
Then
until
the
you
music, I
explain.
think the music is still a bit loud, so
You
I
still can
can't.
hear her. Yeah. Maybe it's right next to the mic. That's why you guys
Oh,
cannot
okay,
hear me.
sorry about that. Yeah, but so you don't really know the details about the US involvement in the Americas. And I mentioned the support for General Rios Montt. Do you know about Rios Montt?
Real months? No.
The support for General Rios Montt. There's this book written by a guy called McDonough called The Massacre at El Mozete. Okay. You also need to look at the role of America in Nicaragua in the 70s. So they were supporting right-wing groups during this period of the Cold War. So they supported the Contras, which were right-leaning groups, against the Sandinistas, which was led by Ortega at that time. So the Sandinistas are supporters of uh, Sandino. Sandino, who was like the former leader of Nicaragua,
Whatever.
as against the government of Anastasio Somoza Debayle, who was a dictator in Nicaragua at that time, propped up by the U.S., supported by the U.S. And then when the Sandinistas came to power, America didn't want them because they considered them as left-leaning groups and started supporting the Contras. And there's this big story around the Iran-Contra affair, which is also related to Israel, because when the Reagan administration came in, they did not, the Congress, put a ban on supplying arms and, support for the Contras. So what Reagan did was to bypass it. He decided to supply arms to Iran during the Iran-Iraq War in 1980 in order to get the funding through the CIA, the Israeli Mossad, in order to get the funding to continue to support the the Contras. And again, like I said, Chile is another one. Classical example, the support for the dictator Augusto Pinochet until the end. And they removed a democratically elected leader in Salvador Allende. And yeah, a host of other issues, even in Haiti, intervention after intervention. The Duvaliers, then they removed John Bertrand Aristide, who stayed in power for, a short period of time, and also Professor Leslie Francois Manigat in Haiti. So it's this incessant, constant intervention in the Americas. I mean, if you live in the US, you might not really feel it because the US is the home of opportunity. So for anybody that makes it to the US, you don't really see what is going on the outside. So even for Venezuela, look, don't get me wrong. A lot of people think Maduro is a dictator. Venezuelans that have left the country, that probably don't agree with his politics. But a lot of Venezuelans are saying, hang on a second. Oh, well, we look at Iraq and we look at Afghanistan. Is the US going to come to this country and do exactly the same thing? Because Venezuela is one of the biggest countries in the region, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know, the number close to 100 million. My number might not be right, but it's an enormous country. Okay, so if you look at the whole area, the whole of South America, for instance, and you look at Brazil, probably the biggest. Which other one again? But Venezuela is up there. So is Colombia and these other countries. So if there is destabilization in Venezuela, the US goes in to bomb to destroy, it will have a negative impact on all the neighboring countries, including Colombia and Ecuador. Your beautiful country, Ecuador, where you have this biodiversity in flora and fauna. And you and I talked about the Islas de Galapagos. In fact, if I make a lot of money, I want to go to Galapagos Island, to go to the Charles Darwin Center. In
Yeah. Oh, San Vicente, that's when you want to go.
Yeah, I
Which
want.
island you want to visit?
Oh, the Charles Darwin Center is on. I forgot the name of the island, but Islas
Oh,
Galapagos.
Darwin. That's right. Yeah. Yeah. But
Islas
I
de
was,
Galapagos.
yeah. They, in the islands, they have like, I think there is like 3 or 4 islands.
Okay, on the
Or
archipelago. Is it like an archipelago and you have like multiple islands?
Yeah, there is different islands that you can just get them by going a boat. So just by boat, you can get to these islands.
Wow. Yeah, that's interesting. And even Haiti. Oh my God, there's this there's this thing that came out I think in 2013 or 14. The U.S. in the role in Haiti, they're taking out all this gold from Haiti. And by the way, most of these gangs in Haiti now that we see today, these are like remnants of the Tom Tom Makuts. Do you know anything about the Tom Tom Makuts?
And
Yeah.
like,
And by the way, I'm from Africa. I've never been to the US. I've never traveled to that part of the world. I've never been in Europe. Just Africa. I've traveled around Africa, but that's it. That's it.
okay.
Yeah.
Soon Ecuador. Soon Ecuador.
Yeah, soon, 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 soon. I go to Ecuador soon.
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, I my interest in the Americas is as a result of my my drive towards understanding the imperial position and the role of America around the world vis-a-vis Europe. I mean, Europe came in there first, and you see what they did in Haiti. You know, and in Haiti, the French were there in Haiti on the island of Hispaniola. The Spanish were there as well, and they were fighting each other. And even I think Haiti became the first independent black nation that fought and decolonized from the French through the struggles of people like Toussaint Louverture and Jean-Jacques Dessalines. Are you familiar with these two names?
No, I haven't heard those names.
Yeah, yeah. So the America, if you go to like the Americas, these people have a past with colonialism that continue to happen today. The position the U.S. took, even in Bolivia. There's a guy in Bolivia that became the president. You know, I think it's the first indigenous guy that became president of Bolivia. I forgot his name in a second. And you know, and the U.S. fell out with him. I don't know for what reason, but maybe somebody can remind me of the name in the comments. But Bolivia is another country. You know, it's a beautiful country. You guys have like amazing land. You know, beautiful water. Like the land is basically the best in terms of the biodiversity. And then you have all these foreign companies coming there to mine, to take oil, to pollute the ocean, and so on and so forth. And your country is going to be next. I mean, they are doing a lot of logging, cutting down a lot of trees, like they are doing to the Amazon in Brazil. And who knows, in the next 10, 15 years, what will happen to your beautiful country of Ecuador?
Right, exactly. Exactly. And they don't seem to be interested to preserve any of this, to be really honest. People fight so much for the Galapagos Island and they still, like they just mistreat so many nice places around the country and in any other country it seems like like political um images they don't seem to care about us society and not even us in the future. They just thinking, oh, how can we profit out of these human beings and where they are located. That's how I feel they look at us. Like, you are in this specific area, we're gonna take advantage of you in this specific matter.
And
That's how I feel.
it's a top down kind of relationship in the sense of this is U.S. interest. If you stand against it, you'll be out. This is what they do. And even if the leader of the country, they smear you, they drum up this campaign for 10, 15 years. I mean, look at what they're doing to Cuba. The US is willing to starve children, to punish them for 100 years. In Cuba, since the revolution in the late 50s, the sanctions have been on Cuba. And what happened in Cuba? The dictator Fulgencio Batista was in power. By the way, at that time, Cuba was like the playground, the hayground of America. Even Guantanamo, you see today, is Cuban territory that they took in the 20s or the 30s and have this 100 years lease plan, lease in quote from Haiti, not Haiti, from um, Cuba, and have refused to give back the territory. Okay, and continue to maintain the presence there today. This is why they built the Guantanamo Bay, which is like the notorious prison that most of you probably know about. So yes, they supported the government of Fulgencio Batista until people like Ernesto Che Guevara and Raul Castro and Fidel, his brother, started the guerrilla movement that removed the dictatorship of Fulgencio Batista. They were doing like this banana plantation there. I think United Food. The politics, it's more connected to the economy and the politics. And then when they toppled the government, some of the dissidents that came from Cuba that were in Florida now planned and worked with the CIA to try and remove Fidel Castro, and
Okay.
it's then they did the invasion of, they call it the Bay of Pigs, Bahia de, how do you call it say it in Spanish? I forgot. It's a Bahia de, how do you call pigs in Spanish?
Pig? Oh, cerdo?
Maybe that's not the name I see, but it's in the invasion of the Bay of Pigs that failed catastrophically, and that cemented and gave credence to Fidel Castro. And then you had the Cuba Missile Crisis in the 60s under JF Kennedy. It's a whole lot of issues, and that as well, coupled with the fact that Fidel have refused to acquiesce and to bow down to the position of the West. This is why they've refused to lift the sanctions. Bosnia.
No, I am from Slovenia, the Balkans.
Oh, I know the Balkans. Because I saw the name, I thought you were like from like Bosnia or Republika Srpska.
No,
Yeah, but I
I'm
know
half
Slovenia.
Slovenian. I'm half Slovenian, half American, but everybody says, you Bosnian? Some Indian or Bangladeshi from the masjid goes, you from Bosnian? I said, no. But only white people I know that are Muslim are Bosnians. You must be Bosnian. Everybody thinks I'm from Bosnia. But you look like a Bosnian. I said, no, I'm half American, half Slovenian. No way, you're joking. I tell I have the passport and everything.
How do you pronounce the capital? Is it Ljubljana or Ljubljana?
Ljubljana. But if you make it quick, it's Ljubljana. It comes from the Italian word Luigana, because we were occupied in the Second World War and First World War by the Italians.
And the Second World War, who came into Slovenia? Is it the Germans?
Yeah, but it was divided into three. The Magyars came into the northeast, the Croatians from the south and the southeast, the Germans from the north, and the Italians from the west and northwest. It was divided into four spheres.
Wow,
Yeah,
that's interesting.
yeah, small land, but quite a rich
Yeah,
history.
it's in the heart of the Balkans. It's in Central Europe.
No, it's a northwest, the north, the
No, Slovenia
northwest
is in
point of the
Slovenia
Balkans.
is in Central Europe.
Yeah, but 25% of Slovenia is still in the Balkans, so it's considered a Balkan in geography and also Balkan in culture and politics, because we
And
used to
politics.
be in two Yugoslavias, the Kingdom of Yugoslavia,
And the former
which was
and the Yugoslav Republic of no Yugoslavia itself. Is this the same Yugoslavia under Joseph Broz Tito?
yeah, but Yugoslavia changed many political outlooks. Like in the beginning, in the 1900s, when it was the end of the World War One, it declared independence from the Austro-Hungarian Empire, and it went to the Kingdom of the Slovenes, Croats, and Serbs, the SHS, Srba Hrvata in Slovenca, or Slovenca Hrvata in Srba, SHS. SHS was a kingdom. We had a king until Second World War, 41. The kingdom basically died, and then they had the Serbs had their the kingdom army in emigration, and the seat was in London of their
Wow.
commanders. So it's a very
Yeah, are you guys neighbors to Romania?
if you say Yugoslavia, yes, of course, because Serbia is on the border with Romania.
Yeah, I know during the Cold War era, Romania was playing its politics of claiming to be communists, but actually working with the West to undermine the Soviet Union at that time. And this was under the leadership of Nicolae Ceausescu.
Yeah, he was good friends with Tito. They had
Yeah,
hunting
yeah, I know.
competitions. Who was a better hunter, and they had one of the best stretchers. You know, when you catch an animal, then you stretch it. You know, and they say, "Oh, my animal was the biggest," and then they stretch it more. You know, I'm
Yeah,
the best hunter.
Nicolae Ceausescu, and yeah, I don't even the wife also played a role in it, and because she was hated in Romania, they hung both of them, Elena Ceausescu.
Yeah, they were both executed
Nicolae
because of
himself
that.
was a stammerer, very short-tempered.
Yeah, uh, it was a very interesting time for this part of the
Was
land.
this 89 or 90 where they were trying to escape and they just
I'm not sure. I don't
publicly
remember
hung them?
that.
This
I
was
think it was
on the
89, but
verge.
I'm not sure.
Yeah,
I
this was
just know they
89 or
were
90.
executed by the firing squad. But I know that they had independent, how do you say, nations, not non-aligned, not the West or the East. So they don't want Soviet influence, neither did they want the Western influence. So they had the non-aligned. And
Yeah, so
Tito,
the non
Gaddafi, Nehru from India, and all of these.
so the non-alignment, that's what they call it in French, the
Ha
non-alignment
ha ha.
movement was started basically by Sukarno, is it Sukarno or Suharto? So Indonesia and Joseph Broz Tito. These were the two. The Indonesian leader at that time was, I think in the 50s, was Sukarno. And then Sukarno and the Joseph Broz Tito. These were the two founding fathers. Then you have, later on, you have, later down the line, they were hosting it in Algeria when Wahid Boumediene was the leader of Algeria. And yeah, Nehru, three of them, sorry. Jawaharlal Nehru of India, Suharto, I think of Indonesia, and then you have Joseph Broz Tito.
And Gaddafi also.
No, Gaddafi came later on, but these were the three prominent guys: Jawaharlal Nehru, Joseph Broz Tito, and Suharto.
Did you know that Gaddafi, I think he went to Mostar in Bosnia I'm not sure, but I think he went to a pilot school in Mostar in these non-aligned times, and he met his wife there
That's interesting.
in Mostar.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah, some of his kids actually studied in Switzerland and across Europe.
yeah,
Also.
exactly. Well, so where are you from, Achi?
I'm African. I'm from Nigeria.
MashaAllah, tabarak. Alhamdulillah.
Yeah.
The Sokoto Caliphate, right?
Oh no, I'm Christian. I'm Catholic.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I thought you were
No,
Muslim.
it's fine. It's fine. I have my political views, but I'm Christian. I'm Catholic. The Sokoto Caliphate you're referring to is no longer there. So what you have, I mean, you still have the Sokoto Caliphate but more or
In a
less
spiritual way, right?
like a kingdom now, where you have the Emir or the Sultana of Sokoto, who's like a spiritual leader more or less, but less power now than it has. And all of this emerged with the Jihad of 1804, what they call the Reformation, when Uthman Dan Fodio came with the
Usman Don Fodio, right?
Uthman Dan Fodio, yes, in
Yeah.
1804. This was right around that period when it started, and they came and dissolved the 14 independent kingdoms. In Hausa parlance, they used to call them the Banza Bokwe. With seven sons, and the other seven were more or less illegitimate. But before then, the different kingdoms and empires existed in northern Nigeria, to the extent where you have the kingdom of Zazzau, the Mai Borno Empire. History did not just start with the Sokoto Caliphate. Before that, there were different kingdoms and independent chiefdoms that were existing in the northern part of Nigeria.
I have a question. You're Christian, right?
Yes,
Are you like Catholic or Orthodox?
I am Catholic.
Are there any like Orthodox Christians, like from the time of the what's it called, the Abyssinian kingdom, the Ethiopians?
Yeah, but that's a completely different situation to Nigeria, because you need to understand, you're referring to the Orthodox you're referring to in Ethiopia and Eritrea. They are mostly in East Africa. It's completely different from us here in Africa. So Catholicism and the Church of England or whatever, came in through the post as a
Okay,
result.
they brought it
So
here.
it's completely different for us here. Of course, you have the Orthodox Church here, but not it's not really something, a lot, very, very few of them. So it's Catholicism and Protestantism is what you have now. Mostly the proliferation of different denominations.
Is Tanzania also in the East Africa, or where is it?
Yeah, Tanzania is in East Central something. Very technically it's in geographically it's more to this leaning towards the center, but it's in East Africa by the way politically.
Okay. Look, I know there is like a Serbian Orthodox church, and there are some Serbs, a few thousand Serbs in Tanzania, and they have a really strong Orthodox presence, although they're small in numbers, but their culture is quite strong, I heard. So I was thinking, are there any like Serb or Russians Orthodox there in your land, Christians?
Not, so I don't know much about it, but I argue and I think it's very, very, it's close to zero. Not close to zero, but the Russian Orthodox Church is not really prominent here. Like I said, Catholicism is the biggest block, and then you have the Pentecostal churches or the Protestant churches, right? So those ones make up the bulk of the population of Christianity in Nigeria. So
And how is you know, in the Bible it says that you pray 3 times a day. Does the church in Nigeria
no,
follow these steps or not? Like
this
the
is the
pre-dawn
traditional
prayer, the
practice.
after the noon prayer, and
No,
night
this
prayer,
is more have to do with
midnight prayer.
Catholicism.
Sorry.
No, it's have to do more with Catholicism, not the Protestant churches. So in Catholicism, you do like the morning prayer, then you do the midday prayer and the night prayer, which is this is what the Catechism says, right?
Yeah,
But
yeah,
not a
yeah.
lot of people follow it.
So
And by the
so
way,
how?
did you know about this guy called Archbishop? Is it Jacob or Stepinash?
You mean the Croats, the peanuts?
Yeah, the Croats. Yeah, Archbishop
Yeah, he
Stepinash
was
of Zagreb.
he was a Croatian Ustasha. He was convicted of war crimes, but the Vatican still was able to find him as a blessed saint,
Yeah, they did his beatification.
because it's a dispute. Was he really a war criminal, or did he save a few of
Yeah,
the Serbs?
so basically, they said he did a lot of stuff and said stuff about the Jays, and then they put him in prison for a bit. I don't know for like close to a decade. I'm not really
And then we
sure.
saw what you call Egypt inviting the United Arab Emirates.
Yeah, so
So what one story says, the Serbs say, he said supposedly, allegedly, we have to uh, exterminate 1/3 of the Serbs, convert 1/3, and evacuate another third. That they have to leave the
yeah,
land.
there was even this thing that he called the Jews dogs.
It's true because the Serbs had a very close relationship with the Jews for centuries, and even Theodor Herzl, the main father of Zionism, he comes from Zemun. It's like a part outside of Belgrade. They are actually Serbian Jews. He
Yeah.
migrated then to Germany and invented the German Zionist Federation, but I think he's originally from Zemun. I don't know what's the Roman name for Zemun. Taurunum. Taurunum is the
Do you do like
Roman name.
do you do live streams with your camera on?
No, I never do live streams because I don't. I don't know. I just don't like it to show my face too much.
I see.
It's not my thing. I don't know. I like to
Yeah.
join. I like to help, but I don't like to be the main thing.
I see.
I
I
just
mean, you
like
have a
to
lot
add
of
something.
knowledge. You have a lot of knowledge, which is
Yeah, some some friend, he asked me why don't I do some history lessons, because history is like my hobby. And even my father said, why don't you go back to faculty and do a faculty of historical sciences? I said, well, I'm
You
long
guys have
overdue.
like departments in Ljubljana, in like your schools where you do like Eastern European politics and stuff like that.
Yeah, you have everything you can possibly find from the world, because that's actually basic for small nation. We're a very small nation. It's like just 2 million people, and every small nation is very, extrovert, going outwards. Usually they know more languages, they know more history of foreigners because they have to get somewhere, because they're not strong enough. So when you go to Switzerland or you go to Kosovo or any really small country, even the Balkans, they're not big countries compared to France, England, Poland, and so on. So they have to know these languages in order to come somewhere. So it's not unusual for these small European nations to be very well versed in history, languages, and stuff like that. So it's kind of getting towards, because of the internet and everything. Everybody knows everything about everyone here, at least in our land. When you mean our land, the European Union, because now
Yeah.
everybody can Google everything, and they come first day as tourists and they know a lot of stuff, and people go, wow, how do you know? Yeah, I Googled it up before I came here.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
Yeah,
it's
if you need
different times.
information now, it's abundant on the internet. So
Yeah, and you have Google Translate, so there's many words you can learn without even meeting a person from the other side, so it's
So are you
totally different
guys? You
times.
guys are Slavic people, and most of you understand Russian language, right?
We used to have in Yugoslavia Russian schools and a Russian language in the school, but the main language was Serbo-Croat, Serbo-Hrvatski, for all 6 republics, because it was like the official language. But in the libraries, you could find one single book with the same name in like 6 languages, like Albanian, Serbo-Croatic, English, Slovenian, Macedonian, and I don't know which other languages, like 4 or 5
Yeah,
languages.
Macedonia also used to be part of Yugoslavia. In fact, the official name at some point was the former Yugoslav Republic of Macedonia.
Yeah, now they're called.
There's this soccer player that I used to like that called Goran Pandev. He's from Macedonia.
Ah,
Do you
nice, nice.
know?
Goran Panda, what is he already? I forgot about. I just remember the name.
Yeah,
He's
he's
like a
from
basketball
Macedonia.
player. What is he already? Is he what, a politician, basketball
No, it's a
player?
soccer player. Soccer player.
Soccer. But yeah, now I remember. He played for an Italian club, right?
Yeah, and he played in England, I think. But Goran Pandev. Yeah, he played in Italy for Inter Milan, I think, and played
Yeah,
for
I remember.
Napoli.
Yeah, he was very good. He was very good. Yeah, I remember him. Nice black beard. Yeah, he was very good. Yeah, it's nice to hear somebody also know about our lands. Much appreciated.
No problem.
And
Yeah.
your team is called the Flying Eagles or something in Nigeria?
Super. So the Flying Eagles are like the juniors, like 20s and 17s or something like that. The Eaglets 17, the Flying Eagles are the 20s and 23s, and the Super Eagles are like the national team.
Super Eagles. Oh, okay. Sorry, I didn't know. Yeah, interesting. So where did they came with the eagle symbol? Because we kind of recognize that like a Roman symbol. Is that like a symbol? Is that like from
Again, if you
Catholic religion or
know
something?
about
No. I don't know. The eagle is on the coat of arms, so it's one of the national symbols of Nigeria, symbol of strength.
So it's
So
also like a national cultural thing before the colonization.
yes, absolutely. And
Oh, okay.
I know it's something you guys also have in the Balkans. And I think it's this country called I think it's Kosovo. Yeah, the Kosovo is on the Kosovan flag or the it's
Albanian
also a
flag
national
has
symbol of either
double-ended
Kosovo or
headed eagle.
Albania. The eagle, yes.
Yeah, it's an Albanian red flag. The Kosovo flag has a yellow map of the Kosovo region with European stars around it on the blue banner. But the Albanian flag has a double-headed eagle, which the symbol derives from the East Orthodox Church from the Byzantine Empire. So it's a Roman
Yeah, it's a
symbol.
very controversial in the sense of the history of the Byzantine in the region, I think. And
Yeah, that's
Albania is where the historical Mother Teresa of Calcutta is from. Is it? Her name is Agnes Soyonshu. I can't really pronounce the name, but she's from Albania. She's an Albanian-born lady that later spent time in Calcutta, which is in West Bengal. That's where she did most of her service
she was
before.
a Christian nun or something.
Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah,
Have
there are
you ever
many
heard of
Christians.
Mother Teresa of Calcutta?
Mother Teresa, yeah, I know,
Yeah,
I know
Mother
she's
Teresa is
Albanian.
from Albania. She's
Yeah,
originally
I
from
know that, I
Albania.
know that, I know that. I didn't.
So her real name is Agnes Soyonshu. I don't know whether it's the right way of pronouncing it, but that's the name. You can check it out.
Yeah, of course. Well, yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, she was a very nice person.
Yeah, I mean, this is what even during the process of her beatification, a lot of stories came out that she took donations from Charles Keating, who was one of the biggest fraudsters in America, and was rolling around with these dictators and got a lot of money, and yet in the home for the dying. By the way, this is during the course of her beatification, people were coming out and saying, yeah, she did a lot of work, but she had like this hospice or the home of the dying where she was glorifying poverty and people should, the more they starve and suffer to death, that they will, tomorrow death transcend and transform them to a bigger being or something like that. While she was having medical care, she was going to like London and flying on planes and encouraging people to suffer. So not all of the stories you hear about Mother Teresa. I mean, she did a lot of good work, by the way. Don't get me wrong, but again, it's yeah,
God knows best. We don't. We try to avoid judging things we don't know. He knows
I
best, and
mean,
we
this
leave
this
it
is
to
what
him.
happens. Just the same way you talked about the Aloysius Stepinash, and during his beatification or during the course of his beatification, a lot of people came out with stories. It's the same thing about Mother Teresa of Calcutta and what they said about her.
Yeah, about Aloysius Stepinac, there are some narrations and even some
Yeah, and by
Serbians
the way, a lot of the
say the
people that
same.
testified, some of the people that testified against us, some of them was the people like Christopher Hitchens, who's the Brit. I'm sure most of you know who Christopher Hitchens is.
I heard of him, but I don't know exactly.
Yeah, the guy, I like him. He's very, very knowledgeable. He's very smart. He's one of the smartest people I've ever listened to. Christopher Hitchens.
Mashallah, tabarak. Good, nice. Yeah, there are some Serbs that agree that it is true that the reason for beatification is true, that Aloysius Stepinac actually did save the Serbians from murder, and they say that he told the Serbs, "Please accept Catholicism; you will save your heads." Like I'm doing you a favor. Don't get yourself killed. In this way that he was playing on two sides. Like Schindler or something. In this way. So some of them agree that he saved thousands and thousands of Serbs this way,